All right, for an update on the release of the students, we're now joined by our correspondent, Charles Eruka, who is in Minna, Niger State. Charles, good to see you if you're there. Well, tell us more what we don't know already. And first off, is it a recovery, a rescue, or release? Well, you might say, thankfully, 100 students are back. Tell us more about what we're seeing today.
Well, we had 100 children delivered to Government House to the governor by a detachment from the Office of the National Security Advisor and the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. Now, it is described as a rescue operation. That is, the children were brought back courtesy of a rescue operation, which is neither here nor there. The details are rather vague. But what I'll have you know is that besides the 100 children who were brought to Government House, there were actually 150 children. 50 of them had earlier escaped from the captors shortly after they had been abducted. So 50 of them had earlier escaped, and this time around we were being told that 100 others were rescued. Now, the background to it all is that about 2 weeks ago, 315 persons were abducted from the St. Mary's Catholic Primary School in Papiri, Aguara local government area of Niger State. Papiri is about 5 hours drive from Minna, the state capital, about 400 and something kilometers away. And that included about 303 students and 12 teachers, making 315 in total. 50 escaped. Now we have about 100 children brought back, so that's about 150 children who have been rescued or escaped from their captors. And we have 12 teachers still in captivity along with the rest of the students. So the event was not exactly an exciting event because not all the captors had been rescued. And that's why you did not see the governor in the jubilant mood one would have expected him to be in. As a matter of fact, he was reluctant to talk because according to him, it was not yet Uhuru.
Indeed. Charles, I mean, that partly answers my question because I was about to ask you about the mood when these children arrived. But given what you observed on ground, I wonder if you've spoken to any parents of those whose children didn't return today. Do they get the sense of assurance from the governor, from the security agencies, that it is not Uhuru and that their 115 remaining children will come back home safely?
Well, you know, the security there was pretty tight, and the media were actually kept away from the children and their parents. That is, we couldn't even identify who the parents were. We saw the children come in, but there were a number of adults there, so there was no provision for a different identification of the parents. So it was not possible to talk to the children or their parents. However, the notes on which the governor was operating was that of optimism. He was optimistic that the remaining children and teachers in captivity would be rescued, and in a very good time too. As for the security agencies, the representative of the Office of the National Security Advisor, Wing Commander Abdullahi Idi Hong, who also addressed the gathering ahead of the governor, did give an assurance that the stops were being pulled, all stops were being pulled to ensure that the rest of the children and their teachers who are in captivity will be rescued. So it's a combination of ground operations and air surveillance, according to the representative of the Office of the National Security Advisor. And so we have been given that assurance that the rest of the captors will be rescued or probably released.
Charles, it's a shame that the media was not allowed to, get anywhere close to this released 100 children. But were you able to catch a glimpse in a way that can actually tell you their state? And is there any kind of psychological support they may be getting? What are we hearing from the state government in terms of the kind of trauma they've been through and how they'll be helped through it?
Well, we did have a representative of the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Mrs. Teresa, her surname just slipped me now. But of course, she is a member of the UNICEF field office in Kaduna. And she did say 2 weeks in captivity definitely would have taken its toll on the children. When we caught sight of them, they were actually looking very sober, very subdued, meaning that children of that age between 10 and 15 would have actually had a very torrid time at the hands of their captors. I mean, it's not the kind of treatment they would be expecting on a daily. So having to live in the wild with hostile forces would definitely have both physical, medical, and psychological trauma on them. And so the representative of UNICEF assured us that the children will be receiving medical and psychosocial support as a result of the expected trauma they would have suffered, at the hands of their captors and having to live in the wild for that duration. So yes, they definitely will be getting some form of support courtesy of UNICEF.
Thank you very much, Charles Eruka, our correspondent on the ground in Niger State.